Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Osayome Sale from Ways Primetime. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?
Be ye never so high that the law is above you is a popular quote by Dele Farotimi. It's Ways Breakfast and hashtag What Are You Saying? A platform where we discuss critical issues shaping Nigeria's future. I'm your anchor, Okikiola Taiwo, and I'm here alongside my co-anchors and comrades of Nigeria. This conversation is one you should follow on Upgrade TV as it concerns a current mishap of the system and its people. We'll be joined by a guest in some minutes, but definitely delivering this topic with my ladies. For now, God's Beauty. I present to you God's Beauty. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. How are you feeling?
I'm
you look
good.
Sharp.
Do I look sharp?
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
not
not.
sharp, baby.
Maybe not. In maybe physical, maybe
Health-wise.
mentally, yes, or maybe health-wise. But then you look great physically.
Thank you so
and
much.
I think that's what I used to tell people, that let my helper not see me looking like
The
this and
way
then tell me,
I mean-
you're fine now. Because I react to stress
Right.
by getting fatter.
Oh.
So my cheek is looking very plump and all of that, but that's me being stressed. Even when I'm ill, I'm like very chubby. So
Wow.
I don't know why.
That's a weird one.
Thank you. So that's why when I'm ill and I send somebody a picture, they're like,
And
Are
so
you
like
sure?
person just chopped the love rice. You do wine?
so how was your weekend?
Well, it was a weekend. I mean, instead of with Saturday, with me trying to rest because I had like a night vigil. I had to minister at that night vigil because it's like a church that I go often and all of that. So I was to minister there. And again, you know how night vigil can be. Very stressed. When you already dance your ass out and all of these things, you're waking up on Saturday looking all tired, looking stressed, hungry, and all of these things. And then I was now told that, oh, Godspeed, you don't forget that on Sunday you have host duties and all of these things. The back of my head, I'm like, I would have just stayed in my house on Friday and slept well. So I know that I'm coming to do all the jaye and all on Sunday. So yeah, I didn't have a choice but to do the thing on Sunday. And it was as it's supposed to be because, I mean, I'm the lady vibe, so everywhere was all gassed and
As
all
it
of that.
should.
As it should be, right? But after all of these things, getting back to the office, it was then it dawned on me that you would have just left one and pick one, you understand?
But it's
I
almost
mean,
like saying that this is the life I chose.
do you understand? I mean, it's similar right now. I'm so tired because I literally slept this morning. I was trying to put the whole Grassy Gala thing together. I mean, it was all tiring, but you know.
The weekend for me was, let me just say restful, but maybe not in the place that I would have chosen
Right.
to rest. But
okay.
you know those by force rest. You don't want to rest, right? I will make sure you rest. That's like your health telling you something. So there was this by force you must rest that happened to me over the weekend, and I was just like, and then looking at all the news that also came with the weekend, it was
Right.
almost like, okay, you want to rest, your mind is still boggled, trying to think
Right.
about so many things. You're still trying to wonder how you want to even do the rest of it. Because December is so pressurizing.
True.
It's so like you have to do this, you have last minute calls, you have
Yeah.
this one, you have that one. But I'm always grateful for a Monday. I
Right.
mean, it's almost like it's a new week. We're going to end, the week starts from Sunday, as people
Yes,
say, but
yes.
to 9 to 5,
I
like
mean, it
us,
starts on
it starts
Monday.
on Monday and ends
I'm
on Sunday.
Do you understand?
Because there's never
Nah, there's
weekend.
never a weekend. Trust
Well,
me. There's never.
I hope you have joined us on our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. Click the subscribe button also. Like and share the link. Tune in to channel 145 on your GoTV. And don't miss this. Let's go on a break right now. And when we return, we'll take you through the top stories across the globe. Stay with us.
Another is here. God's agenda for 2024 is wisdom. Wisdom is the principal thing that makes things work. Everybody needs the oil of wisdom. The challenges are changing dimensions. So the wisdom to deal with them must keep changing dimensions. It's time to get wiser.
God terminated 8 years barrenness in this exalted altar.
I get back to a set of twin baby boys at 50 years after 17 and a half years.
Lord, I need the baptism of this ever-winning wisdom. Shiloh 2024 is December 10 to 15. Thank you, Jesus. Amen.
Nice to have you back from that break. Now let us take a look at news from the pages of today's newspaper. Today we'll be highlighting the top stories from The Guardian and The New York Times. Starting with The New York Times, as always, I always like to go abroad before coming back to Nigeria because I'm like, home is sweet. So I just want to, those holidays that you just go and do some summer holidays and all that stuff abroad.
I feel you.
That's just what I like to bring it in like that.
No, wala. All right, let's quickly go straight into the international space. New York Times newspaper. And by the right side of the newspaper, we have national chain of drug clinics deuce in deceit. Next to that, tycoons of tech stir transition for Trump team. By the left side of the newspaper, we have our Assad at rebel surge. A strategic city is said to be under attack. Next to that, how a centuries-old Parisian jewel was reborn. Beneath that, influencer versus influencer, can a vibe be stolen? I like that question. Can a vibe be stolen? Next to that, which is the last headline on the newspaper, has South Korean leaders survives impeachment vote in assembly. So the one I want to quickly touch on is still on this Trump case about, the people that have supported him into being on seat. And now that it's somehow giving them that, leverage to make their policies themselves. And in my head, I'm like, what's really going on here? But let me quickly take the details of the story. And it says, Donald Trump, after the election, invited tech billionaires like the likes of Elon Musk and Larry to help plan for his next government. Tell me why another person is doing your planning your government for you. But moving on, it says, these wealthy and powerful individuals are influencing big decisions like who gets key jobs and what policies to focus on. Their involvement could shape important rules on taxes and technology, which might benefit the rich more than regular people. Having billionaires also involved creates a risk of decision being made that favor the wealthy instead of ordinary workers. It also shows a change in how I think the Silicon Valley leaders like Marx are becoming more open to working with Trump's idea, moving away from their usual support for democratic values. This could make policies even more focused on money and power. And I feel like that's the fear of all the critics in the United States. This one that you're allowing this person to choose the kind of policies they want. Of course, they'll want to choose policies that will support them. I mean, and the fact that Oluchi is not here now, I don't know how I don't know how this information is going to be balanced. But for real, I don't see how this is going to work. I don't see how this is supposed to help an average citizen of the United States, given that the kind of people that you're even bringing in to make policies are just rich people. So how would that you expect them to now fit in or bring laws or bring policies that will not fit into an average citizen of the United States? So honestly speaking, I don't see this as a good news, but for those that have supported Trump, I mean, I hope that people see what you guys have put in. That's all I can say.
I would say that while I don't necessarily hate Trump, it's almost like I still don't buy into his ideas.
I'm just indifferent about him.
I'm indifferent about him, but I still see that, well, almost all parties have the kind of things that they are focused on.
Right.
And that's why when one party comes, they're saying that this is what they bring to the table. When another party comes, they say this is what they're bringing to the table.
Right.
But in all, I'm not a Trump person, I'm sorry. I cannot say I completely supported Kamala Harris too.
Democratic.
Yes, especially with the transgender thing and all of that stuff. But everybody had their policies to bring. And the president-elect is now showing what he brings to the table. Yeah, what do you bring to the table anyway? He's bringing billionaires to do rules. Tech billionaires to create policies on the table. Well, taking you through the Guardian newspaper quickly, the headline reads, tax reform bills, state high 180% hike in VAT earnings amid push for fiscal federalism. Below that, we have measure tax bills impacts on human rights, says Serap. Serap tells NAS. Another story reads, funding weak political will, bedeviling varsity system. Below that, we have NCDC tells health facilities to intensify checks for SARS-CoV-2, that's COVID-2 variant. Another story reads, Ghana's electoral process inspired by Nigeria, says INEC. Well, another story here reads, Minister operators FCCPC bicker over airfare pricing regulatory rights. The last but not the least story here says, legal tender, an uneasy path to transiting from old to new notes. I have so many stories that I want to talk about here, but let me first start with this Ghana electoral thing, because when I was coming this morning, I was listening to it on radio, where they were saying that Ghana copied Nigeria. And to my Ghanaian friends who are possibly watching this show, it's almost like every time we have a conversation, we're always talking about how Ghana is better than Nigeria, Nigeria is better than Ghana. And for Nigeria to come and say it again that people copied INEC, I completely agree. People are copycats, and I say that with my full chest. But I hope that Ghana did not copy the faults of INEC.
Right.
They copied policies that should work.
Right policies.
Yes, right policies for their country. I really hope that. Another thing that catches my attention here is the old to new Naira notes. I don't know what to say. As of last year, everybody was running helter-skelter. There was scarcity of funds. There was no cash. Cashless policy. All these things came with last year.
Right.
And a lot of people had to, even Malams at some point started taking transfer for me to even buy simple products. Well, I would say that that's the advancement of technology, but there was also rise in cybercrime in
Yes.
terms of saying fake alerts and all
Yes.
those things. Now, new to old Naira notes, what's going to happen? There's not been a necessarily good flow of the new Naira notes. If you see it, most people still have old Naira
ones,
notes.
yes.
So where is the case where both of them can actually exist? They said they introduced the new Naira notes to curb things like kidnapping, crime, and all of that stuff. But over the past year, has it necessarily done that?
That's the problem. You know, when it's just like it was on the news, I think TVC carried it also during the weekend, and I saw where the policeman was saying that, you know, like these tinted vehicles and whatever tinted would have to be stopped, that they are trying to build up a law that would condemn tinting of cars and all of that. That, I mean, because they want to curb, they want to work on their security levels and all of these things. My first question is, why is it that Nigerians, we don't look for, like, when I say solutions, we don't try to get solutions that make sense? Because tell me how you are saying, I mean, I'm very sure that this whole tinted thing, of course, will not get to our politicians. Of course. Of course. So it will be the average citizen, right? I feel like most of the times we don't look for, like, we don't find, you know, solutions that make sense. Just like you're talking about this new era, whatever. Tell me how that is a lasting solution. Look for solutions. I mean, we keep saying we are following the Westerners, but trust me when I say that we are following them blindly.
That brings me to think about the whole idea of the NIN also. When they said NIN was also created to sort of have the database of all Nigerians, whether in diaspora or whatever, living or whites or whoever living in Nigeria, is for us to get the database in order to curb all these things too. But we still have so many people, number one, who don't have NIN. After they are threatening, we'll block your SIM, we'll block your SIM, we'll block your SIM. To also realize that you can still access WhatsApp with that same line that might have been bad. So it's almost like we say that we want to do this. We have NIN, we have driver's license, we have international
all the
passports.
license,
we have so many things that we have voters card, so many things that should have a database. You cannot give 5 different informations on 5 different ID cards. It's easy to tell. So how come that those things are not necessarily working for us? So I just feel like this new Naira note to old Naira note thing,
it's a waste of time. We should look for other pending things to take care of, man.
But, well, that's all we can take on the news today. If you want to check out other newspapers, you can go on X to also check other stories of The Guardian, the New York Times, and every other newspaper in the Nigerian space. We'll go on a break right now, and when we come back, we'll come back with our topic for today. Stay with us.
Another is here. God's agenda for 2024 is wisdom. Wisdom is the principal thing that makes things work. Everybody needs the oil of wisdom. The challenges are changing dimensions. So the wisdom to deal with them must keep changing dimensions. It's time to get wiser.
God terminated 8 years barrenness in this exalted altar.
I get back to a set of twin baby boys at 50 years after 17 and a half years.
Lord, I need the baptism of this ever-winning wisdom. Shiloh 2024 is December 10 to 15. Thank you, Jesus. Amen.
Imagine the world where the voices of the youth finally get the spotlight they deserve.
Welcome to Ways Breakfast, the groundbreaking show where young minds unite together to tackle issues that truly matter.
We're flipping the script on traditional morning talk shows, and this is your chance to hear the youth speak out.
We're not just skimming headlines, we're diving deep into the heart of topics that impact us all.
From politics to governance, tech innovations, mental health, and trendy social issues.
We don't just discuss, we ignite conversations that inspire change and spark action.
Join us every morning for fresh, young, and vibrant perspectives
that empowers the next generation to make a difference.
Start your day right with Ways Breakfast, because when the youth speak, the world listens. Ways Breakfast, weekdays at 8 a.m. live on Upgrade TV.
Looking to take your business to the next level through partnerships? Then join us every Thursday at 10 a.m. for Partner Up.
Whether you're an entrepreneur, marketing, sales, or partnership professional, Partner Up is here to give you the tools you need to succeed.
From in-depth interviews with industry experts
to real-world case studies of successful partnership strategies that drive innovation and business growth.
we dive deep into what it takes to form successful partnerships.
Thursdays, 10 a.m.
Don't miss Partner Up.
If the foundations be bad,
what can the righteous do?
How do we start amending the foundation? And you talked about the Constitution. We've had so many constitutional amendments back and forth, and half the time they're for personal interest and not about we the people. So how do we go about it? Because you've also said we don't have the people. So how do we manufacture them?
You see, the collective ignorance in Nigeria is legendary, underestimated. People don't know. Right? You see, it doesn't matter how determined you are. A billion fools coming together sincerely to take an action will take a foolish action. It doesn't matter how many they are or how they feel, how much they hate. Determination is not a strategy. Neither is anger, right? People have to learn to subject their feelings to reasoning and allow those reasoning to be guided by truth before they move to action. There's a lot of movement going on in Nigeria, but 99.9% of the time, it's a movement of emotion to action. The reasoning and truth is missing within the gap.
And no strategy.
Now, when you have a critical mass that are terribly ignorant, fearful, and opaque, you see, you have to understand the character of the Nigerian. He is extremely hopeful. Extremely hopeful. Now, anything you are willing to tolerate will never change. Never.
Welcome back to the show, and we are joined by one of my co-anchors here. We have not seen her since last week. It's been, what?
Time.
A long time coming. Hi,
Yeah,
Oluchi. How
I'm
you
good.
doing?
How are you doing too?
I'm fine. We're
Thank you
all
for
fine.
reaching out. God's beauty. Thank you, Kiki. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.
Well, today we're talking about Dele Farotimi's book. I hope we're all prepared to necessarily take a look at this book and analyze what has happened over the week. I think from last week, what's happened to him.
I thought that this book is going to resurface now. I mean, we've had the book for a while.
Yes, and then we have read the
to
book.
discuss it.
We even discussed about the book so many times, from chapters to chapters, and months
Hot topic
after.
today.
Months after, we can see now that he's been arrested. Well, today we'll be diving into the controversy surrounding Dele Farotimi's book, which has been making waves in the Nigeria's legal and political circles. The book, which has been described as a critique of the country's justice system has sparked heated debates and reactions from various stakeholders. One of the most notable aspects of the book is its alleged exposure of prominent figures, including Afe Babalola, a senior advocate of Nigeria, who has been accused of manipulating the justice system to serve his own interest. Dele Farotimi's book, Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System, is a thought-provoking critique of the Nigeria justice system. According to Farotimi, the system is plagued by corruption and manipulation by the rich and powerful who use their influence to escape justice. Farotimi argues that this corruption has destroyed the essence of the judicial system, allowing those with power and influence to act with impunity. He also notes that this corruption has far-reaching consequences affecting not just individuals but also the entire society. Interestingly, Farotimi was recently arrested and charged with defamation and cybercrime. This has led to Farotimi being summoned to a magistrate court in Ado-Ekiti to face charges of criminally defaming Babalola. However, the controversy surrounding the book has generated massive public interest, with many people praising Farotimi's courage in speaking truth to power. Well, despite the controversy, Farotimi's book remains a timely and important contribution to the conversation about justice and accountability in Nigeria. We're watching now the video of his arrest and how, the police, I guess, of Lagos State arrested him. They came all the way from Ekiti to arrest him in Lagos right now. Farotimi also held another press conference stating why he was arrested, or why a case has been charged against him, and how he was not aware of how he was arrested. Well, joining us today is Mr. Taiwo Akinlami. Taiwo Akinlami is a distinguished social development and family attorney, recognized as a leading expert in the African-sensitive social, cultural, legal, and systems approach to family strengthening. He is a proponent of creating a nurturing and protective environment for children and advocates for rights-based parenting practices that adhere to global best practices. As an intellectual property trustee, Taiwo is dedicated to advancing initiatives that empower families and enhance child welfare across communities. Welcome, Mr. Taiwo.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good
it's
morning.
my pleasure to be with you today.
Wonderful. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm trying to be fine. I'm trying to be fine.
Aren't we all?
It's not. Yes, it's not a great season for our country.
Well, to start this conversation, it's how far the allegations laid upon, Dele Farotimi, has gone widespread. It has now become more like everybody is talking about it, both in the international space and even up to the point where Amazon listed his book as the best-selling for that day. But how did these allegations made in the book about Afe Babalola and other prominent figures, how do they reflect the broader issues with the Nigerian justice system?
Well, I think that the chicken has come home to roost. The foundational thing we need to accept is that the way Dele Farotimi is being treated today has made the book that he wrote a self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean, when Dele wrote that book, he made copious allegations about the state of the judiciary in Nigeria, right? And he launched the book on the 12th of June 12th, 2024. And he made categorical statements that he believes in the efficacy of the book that he has written, and he believes in all the allegations that he has made there. And so, having done that, the powers that be could not put themselves together until like 5 months after, and began to make arrangements to punish him. Now, this is what has happened. Dele Farotimi wrote a book where he has made certain allegations, right, against the judiciary.
Yes.
Where he has made certain allegations against the entire justice system in Nigeria. You know, the justice system in Nigeria is not only the judiciary, it includes the police, includes everyone involved in the entire spectrum of justice administration
yes,
in
exactly.
Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
So he has made certain copious allegations. Now, on the 4th of December, that's last week, Tuesday, he was picked up, he was abducted in his office, wasn't picked up. So this is what happened. 7 gun-toting men went to his law firm, Dele Farotimi and Co. in Lekki. They went in there, asked to see him. When they were speaking to the receptionist, and he was trying to make a call to Dele via the intercom, one of them went outside, slapped the gate man or the security man, bundled him into the office, and took him straight to Dele's office and picked up Dele. Not only was Dele picked up, that is, these men were gun-toting. They were carrying assault rifles. Not only that, they did not identify themselves. They put him in an unmasked vehicle and drove him straight to Ado-Ekiti. Now, not only that, before they did that, they collected everybody's phone.
Yes, I saw that.
Confiscated everybody's phone. Now, this is a Gestapo-like approach to picking up somebody. So you picked him up or abducted him, whisked him to Ekiti State. Now, you never told him where you were taking him to. You never told anyone in his office where he was being taken to. I'm Chief Ganifa, I'm his nephew. I was around many times when the military came to pick him up. In one of those instances, I've been whisked by SSS when they came to pick him up. Now, that was under the military. There was no time they picked him up, invaded his home, slapped anybody, and made life unbearable for anybody around him. That was under the military. Now, we claim to be under a democracy, and what we are talking about now has happened. Now, the anomaly did not stop there. They whisked him to Ekiti State on the 24th, on the 4th. On the 5th, they charged him to a magistrate court in Ado-Ekiti. Now, this magistrate court they charged him to has no jurisdiction to look into the offense for which he was charged. He was charged under a federal act in a state court, which should not be, because the state court has no jurisdiction to look into a federal act. Now, in Ado-Ekiti, in Ekiti State, the offense for which he was charged does not exist. So the magistrate, who has no jurisdiction, ended up asking that Dele Farotimi should be locked up till Tuesday, that is till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now, as we're dealing with that, on Friday, they brought up another spurious charge of cyber crime and all of that, and cyber stalking, defamation. They brought all of that and charged him and preferred that one before a federal high court in Ekiti State. Now, this is a court that is supposed to be on vacation. So when you look at the way this matter has been handled, you will know that whether Dele Farotimi has been able to prove the allegation in the book or not is not the issue right now. Because if you charge somebody for a criminal offense under our law, then you as such must prove. Now, Dele Farotimi today, whom you have charged for a crime, is now innocent until proven guilty. You now have to prove the state, because the Inspector General of Police is the one who has taken Dele Farotimi to the Federal High Court.
Yeah.
You now have to prove that Dele Farotimi, the allegations he's making in that book, is not true. The burden of proof has now shifted to government. The burden of proof has now shifted to the IGP to prove that the allegations that Dele Farotimi made in those books are not true. But I hear people coming out to say that, well, Dele should prove what he has said in the book. It's too late in the day. The responsibility to prove the content of the book is no more at the doorsteps of Dele Farotimi. The responsibility to prove the content of the book now, or to prove the crime for which Dele has been charged on the basis of the book and other interviews that he granted, is not at the doorstep of the government. And unfortunately, we find a Nigerian public that is not aware of the nitty-gritty of the facts of the matter on ground.
Thank you so much for this contribution.
contribution that you have made and just helping us to open up this even much more. You know, one thing with questions about the legal system and the judiciary is that it has actually lingered for some time now, and we only see some bold individuals that will come up to question accountability and all of this. But let's look at this Dele Farotimi's case. It has ignited discussions about freedom of speech and the role of lawyers in advocating for societal change. I agree that you are a lawyer, and so you can give us better perception to the role of lawyers in actually propagating freedom of speech. I mean, is there like a fine line or a balance that lawyers are supposed to have when, advocating for freedom of speech or even talking about the judiciary to which they've sworn allegiance to? Do you understand? Let's just start it from there.
To add to that, can I add to that? I want to say that, I mean, over the time, we've seen people around defamation this, defamation that, starting from, the Falanos down to, I mean, the Burna Boy and the rest of it.
Even journalists as well.
I mean, so I want to ask, right, for Nigerians listening to us now, or people even outside the country as well. Now, the thing about defamation, when you I mean, as a plaintiff, you're saying that, oh, you've been defamed and all of that, you want to take this person to court. What are the right way to go about it? Because I see people, I mean, when the whole Burna Boy thing started, people were like, oh, no, he's not supposed to arrest him. If you feel like he has defamed you and all of that, go straight to the court. So I feel like there's also, people are not educated on that as well. So, I mean, since you're a lawyer, I would want you to, so put us on that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, the right to freedom of speech is not absolute. If somebody believes that somebody has stepped out of the boundaries of law, of the Constitution, when it comes to freedom of speech, there are civil consequences, there are criminal consequences. There is criminal defamation. There is civil cases. You can institute a civil case, which we touch on slander, that is the things that you say, and libel for the things that are written.
Yes.
Now, to a very large extent, in many states of Nigeria, criminalizing defamation has been is not known to law. Now, in Ekiti State, for example, the only thing known to law is a law in Ekiti State that talks about speeches that for public disturbance. Now, it is important to note, again, that if you are alleging defamation, criminal defamation, for example, if it is important to take into cognizance this place in which the offense is committed. A lot of times, the state in which the offense is committed, the courts in those states should have jurisdiction over such matters. But you see, what has happened is that the Dele to me is taken to Ekiti State, which is believed to be the stronghold of his traducers, the stronghold of his accusers. Now, the complainant in the case against Dele Farotimi is Afe Babalola. Now, Afe Babalola made sure, working with the Nigerian states, that Dele Farotimi was taken to Ekiti State, where he believes he has everybody in his pocket. He has the police in his pocket, he has the judiciary in his pocket, he has the lawyers in his pocket. And that's why he was taken there. Now, the truth of the matter is that the point at this point is that nobody can say that that freedom of speech is absolute, right? There are things that you can say that can trigger that. But the way Dele Farotimi has been treated, again, I must say, is a self-fulfilling prophecy to the fact that what he's saying is true, to the fact that there is a problem with the Nigerian justice system. Right? Because if okay, you arrested somebody in Lagos, I don't even want to be using the word arrest because it wasn't an arrest. It was an abduction. It was stopped, right? It was kidnapped, right? And sandwiched between 7 men, gun 13 men. His head of chambers gun was pointed at his head of chambers. There could have been accidental discharge.
Right.
So those lives were threatened.
Yes.
When does it become the fashion When does it become a way of arresting someone, going to his law firm, beating up people there, seizing everybody's phone? Seizing everybody's phone. You can see in this footage, the police carrying the phone of the receptionist after they have carried the phone of everybody. Now that is a breach of the privacy of these people who you have carried their phone. They have the right to use a phone, but you don't have, you cannot, they have not committed any offense. If we assume without considering that there's an offense has been committed, right? They have not committed any offense. Why confiscate their phone? Why beat up the security man who did not do anything wrong, right? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes,
so ultimately, what we are seeing right here is an abuse of judicial process. It's abuse of
power.
It's abuse of procedures and protocol.
Yes.
Now, immediately after Dele Farotimi was kidnapped, newspapers reached out to the Commissioner of Police Lagos. They said they were not aware of the operation. Now, if you want to arrest somebody in a state procedurally, you must touch base with the police command in that state.
Yes.
When you arrest the person, you should take the person to the nearest police station in that place, incident the matter.
Yes.
But all of this was not done. Now, why does the police protocol advise that? In case you want to arrest someone and the thing goes wrong, or you need backup, you may need to call the nearest police station to say, please, we need backup, come help us. Now, if you do not inform them before making that move, it's going to be difficult for them to support you.
Right.
Now, in this instance, these people came heavily armed. Dele Farotimi is a man of peace. Dele Farotimi has spoken his truth and has spoken his mind. He has never at any point in time advocated violence. He has never lifted his finger against anyone. He has spoken words, right? And when you want to pick him up, you came to him as if he's a terrorist. You came to him as if he's a common criminal. You came to him as somebody who has the history of resistance, of arrest. This is completely unacceptable. And so where the focus should be today is that if the system, let's assume without conceding that the system is correct, Dele Farotimi is wrong, why go through good justice? Why go through extrajudicial means? Why go through means that is not known to the Nigerian law to deal with him? So you've thrown him into prison because you want to punish him. How do you charge somebody before a state court that has no jurisdiction to try him? You charged him there. And that same court that has no jurisdiction to try him, threw him in prison till Tuesday. While we are dealing with that, on Friday, you filed another charge before a federal high court. Now, this federal high court, we have it on good authority, is on vacation. So what do? So what you are saying, that if the court's on vacation till next year, then you want to keep him in prison unjustly, not to celebrate Christmas with his family, because he made statements. Because he made statements that you disagree with. And you say you guys are the senior advocates of Nigeria. You guys are the ones who claim to proclaim and protect the laws of Nigeria. Right. You guys, you say you are the ministers in the temple of justice, and you cannot follow your own laws. Now, this government, during the last election, they said anybody who is angry should go to court. What stops them from going to their own court today? Why are they going through extrajudicial means to punish a man for speaking his mind?
Well, thank you very much, sir. I like the fact that you are giving us concrete reasons and concrete examples of why all this is wrong. We would go on a break right now, and then when we return, we'll be talking about his Afe Babalola's side to the story and the implication for Dele Farotimi. Stay with us.
Another is here. God's agenda for 2024 is wisdom. Wisdom is the principal thing that makes things work. Everybody needs the oil of wisdom. The challenges are changing dimensions. So the wisdom to deal with them must keep changing dimension. It's time to get wiser.
God terminated 8 years barrenness in this exalted altar.
I get back to a set of twin baby boys at 50 years after 17 and a half years.
Lord, I need the baptism of this ever-winning wisdom. Shiloh 2024 is December 10 to 15. Thank you, Jesus. Amen.
Welcome back to the show. Today we're discussing Nigeria and its criminal justice system, written by Dele Farotimi, which has now gotten him arrested and remanded in prison. But we still have a guest here, Mr. Taiwo. Is he here with us?
Yeah.
Okay, so looking at the news, I've tried to read the book. I read the book, also looked at the news, and I know Afe Babalola has reportedly said that he'll release Sir Dele Farotimi if he's able to prove the allegations, against him. And I'm wondering, I was not there because when I think I read a part where it was about a land dispute. That's exactly where he was necessarily, talking about Afe Babalola and how he influenced, the land dispute and issues like that. But I wasn't there. I just read the book. I saw that that's what he accused him of. But I could ask you, do you think that these allegations made in the book are credible? And when he said he should prove it before he can release him, I think I saw that on Daily Post. He said if he can prove those allegations, then he will release him from the court and then pull down the case. So how do you think that these allegations made in the book, what do you think, what evidence do you think supports them?
So if I begin to talk about the proof he has for the proof for the allegations he made in the book, I'm going to be preempting the case that is in court, right? We are not going to do the work of Afe Babalola for him. We are not going to do the work of the police for them. We are not going to do the work of the Nigerian state for them. They've charged Dele Farotimi to court on the basis of the book that he wrote, right? They should go ahead and prove it. That is the position of the Nigerian law.
Yeah.
The Nigerian constitution says that when somebody is accused of a crime, such person is innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
So Mr. Dele Farotimi today is innocent until proven guilty. That's number one. Number two is that such person, the person who asserts must prove. That is the law. You don't charge somebody to court for a criminal offense and ask him to come and prove his innocence.
Yeah.
What you are now saying is that no wonder they are treating him this way. What you are now saying is that Dele Farotimi is guilty until proven innocent. But the law says no. The law says Dele Farotimi is innocent until proven guilty.
Yes,
right? So
correct.
it is now the responsibility. Now, if they want to know, even if they have taken Dele Farotimi to a civil court, it is their responsibility to prove the allegation that the assertions that Dele Farotimi made in the book, is wrong. It's not true. Now, it is upon being able to prove that allegation that Dele Farotimi now comes with a defense. But you see, as it is right now, we cannot continue to talk about the proof that Dele has, because this is an event that happened. This is an event that takes place,
Yes.
that took place. The players in that event are alive. Are you getting it? And they are available to testify in court as to what happened. Are you getting it?
Yes.
But the truth of the matter is that book that is written is a microcosm, a snapshot of the picture of the Nigerian justice system in the words of Dele Farotimi. Are you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, he has written those books. They are very, very strong allegations against the justice system in Nigeria and these allegations are allegations that if anybody is interested in Dele Farotimi proving those allegations, they must take him to a civil court, or now they've taken him to a criminal court. And when they take him to a criminal court, it is their responsibility to prove. So for you to say that the only way Dele Farotimi is going to be released is for him to prove the content of the book, that is completely wrong. That is an anomaly. It's not known to our laws. That is what we are saying. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, I can.
That is what we are saying. You cannot say you cannot say I'm going to withdraw a complaint to the police only when the person comes to show me how his allegations are true. So who are you now in the matter? Is the complainant the trial of facts? Is the complainant now the one who is going to teach the police how to do their work? Is the complainant now the one who is going to teach the judiciary how to do their work? So you can see that what is going on right now is like a masquerade dancing in the public place. You can see the masquerade dancing, but you cannot see the drummers. The drummers are hidden in the bush. What we are dealing with is a snapshot of the Nigerian judicial system, how the Nigerian justice system responds to a situation. Everything professors of law have written. Senior lawyers have written. The Nigerian Bar Association has taken a position that the way Dele Farotimi is being treated is not known to law. That is the point. And I challenge anybody to a debate. I challenge the most senior advocate in Nigeria to a debate. I challenge anybody who is ready to have this convention to a debate. Now, when you go to
Well, I don't know. I think we've lost contact with Mr. Taiwo, but it's almost like everything that he has said about Dele Farotimi, about the book, about Areafe Babalola, it's almost like he's saying that this is what it is. And then I remember that in one of the press conferences that he had, he was mentioning the fact that this is typical Areafe Babalola, knowing that he will do just that when he was writing the book. And I also see that it's so ballsy of him to know that all these people that he has written about are alive. But then he has written those things about them to tell them that I am so sure that these things I've written about you are true. And I think that we have Mr. Taiwo back here again. Mr. Taiwo, are you with us?
I wanted to ask him a question briefly. Can I go ahead?
Yes, let me quickly ask this question. So we have seen cases where people come up to talk about issues surrounding the Nigeria's justice system, and we see how they keep getting fired for those things. Now, it brings me to question the consequences for people, or for people who are passionate about Nigeria, to speak about issues and the justice system. What does it hold for us Nigerians who are not even lawyers, who cannot demand for maybe the senior advocate of Nigeria's chambers or all of this? Just we normal Nigerians who have seen issues surrounding this thing, what does it now hold for us? How can we now work together to demand this accountability and transparency from the justice system? Taking somebody from Lagos to Ekiti for a case that should be held in the state in which the person is, being tried is almost unbelievable to me. When I saw that they had to come and arrest him in Lagos and take him to Ekiti, I'm like, how? Where is it done? Even for normal cases, I've never seen where somebody is having issues in Lagos, they now take the person to Abuja to go and be tried. And then you also mentioned the fact that this person took him to where he felt like he had the most power. And that's just a bit of proving that what even Dele Farotimi has said in the book is also correct to some extent. The fact that somebody can move somebody from Lagos to Ekiti without the state being informed or being aware of this issue. So what are the consequences of us Nigerians, being able to speak out about issues like this?
Rights are never won on a platter of comfort. Rights And, Montesquieu said something. He said, what used to be clear to me in practice, what used to be clear to me ideologically, I'm paraphrasing him now, has become clear to me in practice. Power does not shift except for superior power.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? So the greatest power is with the people. The greatest power is with the people. If you can galvanize that power and demand for our rights, the way Dele Farotimi has advocated in the most peaceful manner, no violence, peacefully asking the powers that be, challenging the powers that be to debate, to discussion, to conversations, to ask critical questions. That is what Dele Farotimi has done in his book. He has challenged the system. He has asked the system critical questions. He has called out the system. I would have thought the system were engaging, using the apparatus of law to engage him in a court, to engage him in either a civil court or in a criminal court, right? But that is not what the response is. And that is why the Nigerian people need to be aware of what has happened. Somebody said yesterday that if somebody who knows his rights can be treated this way, how much more, ordinary Nigerians who do not know their rights, right? So if a lawyer, a senior lawyer in Nigeria, Dele Farotimi was called to the bar in 1999. We were called together. As a matter of fact, we went to the same school. He was my president. I was the director of welfare when we were in school. And he has always been upright, forthright about calling Nigeria to discussion and debate. And so as it is today, Dele Farotimi is locked up in prison. But the truth of the matter is that we must uphold those principles that Dele Farotimi upholds. We must uphold those principles that Dele Farotimi represent. People normally say we can have 2 Dele Farotimi, 10 Dele Farotimi, Nigeria will be better. But I say we need to embrace those ideas that Dele Farotimi stands for. We need to speak about those ideas and those commitments that Dele Farotimi has. We need to demand for our rights as citizens of Nigeria. We have the right to a judiciary that works. We have the right to a justice system that works. And that should be our demand. That should be the question we should ask. And we should refuse this idea of punishing people through extrajudicial means, punishing people using our influences within the police, within the judiciary. You see, this thing has happened before. There was a woman who went to Facebook and commented about somebody's product. And because she commented about that product, she was whisked off to Abuja.
Yes.
Her life was turned upside down.
Yes.
There's another journalist who wrote some things in Cross River. This man was also locked up in Cross River for months. So we've seen this kind of treatment before. The high and mighty in Nigeria claiming that they are higher than the law, they are bigger than the law, they are bigger than anybody, and they have the resources, they have the means, they have the connection to do and undo, to do like God.
Yes, Mr. Taiwo, thank you very, very much. I like how you have also wrapped up the fact that Nigerians should be aware of, their rights, and we should be aware of the things that is going on as regards Dele Farotimi's case. And I hope that the media also takes to create real transparency when it comes to these issues surrounding people who have come to talk about issues surrounding Nigeria and how they can get justice, not just for the accused, but even the accuser. Not just for the accuser, but even the accused. Thank you very much. And then thank you to our viewers for also joining us on this important discussion. I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.